Hospice is a nonprofit agency that provides care for patients with limited life expectancies. We mainly provide home care, but we also work in nursing home facilities, and our hospice program has a 6-bed, soon to be 8-bed inpatient facility at one of our local hospitals.
So with the COVID-19 pandemic as it is, we're hearing heart-wrenching stories about people who are dying alone in intensive care units, who don't have the ability to breathe, let alone let their last wishes be known. But hospice, what role are you playing right now during this pandemic?
Hospice, our program is dependent on, our patients are dependent on end-of-life care, and which means that when the pandemic started, we had to kind of think through how can we provide the best care possible for patients and families that are in those situations. They have to have in-home care. They have to have that nursing care. Lots of times we've been utilizing telehealth to do social work support and spiritual support, but our home care aides have been making visits and providing care. With the facilities, with our hospitals, an example might be if you have a patient that is tested positive for the COVID virus, then that patient and family can make the decision that they want to come home to die. And we would help them with that wish by setting up equipment and supplies. We would make sure that they had all of the things that they needed to not only protect the patient and help them get the care that they needed, but also particularly pay attention to that family, helping the family with things like PPE. We would provide gloves, masks, things that normally families just on their own could not get. All hospices at the beginning of this had a little bit of a challenge because we don't stock a lot of protective gear.
The personal protective equipment, yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we had to do is partner with our community. We had some volunteers that have made masks for our staff, just to wear in general. We've also had a lot of community agencies like dentists in our area that donated masks that they had in their office when they closed, or gloves and things like that. So when we bring a patient home, our staff certainly does all the precautionary measures with that family and with our staff when we're in providing care. And then we just keep that patient home and comfortable so that they can be surrounded by their family.
Now, what about the family? You said, you would make it possible. You'd put the protective equipment in there. You'd get them what they need. But what about family members? Would they be restricted as well?
What we normally try to do, there's a core base of family that normally have taken care of a patient ahead of time if they have a chronic or life-threatening illness, and so they've been providing care before they were positive and had to go into the hospital setting. Those family members are tested and make sure that they are using all the precautions so that no one else is exposed. What we try to do is in our care center, for example, if a patient is in the care center at the end of life, we try to limit it to immediate family. We encourage that to be the people that I would want at my bedside. We limit the visits of, friends or people that normally would not be at the bedside at that time. So we just try to make that a special time for family.
Well, I just want to say thank you for the good work that you do there at Hospice of Lake Cumberland. Stay well. Euretha Godby has joined us. She's the director of Hospice of Lake Cumberland. I'm Barbara Deeb. I'm coming to you from my living room to social distance, and you're watching Coffee Near Me. And of course, we'd love to have the conversation continue. Who would you like to sit down and have a cup of coffee with? Now, Euretha, on this program, we always ask our guests, living or dead, if you could have coffee and a conversation with one person, who would that be?
Living or dead?
Mm-hmm.
Who would I have coffee with? Probably my parents.
Aww.
I would love to talk to my father again.
There you go. Here, cheers to your father. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Euretha. Stay well.
Thank you.